Hey everybody, shit. That's an auspicious start. Hey everybody, I'm Mad Max, and with me is Glitched Vision, aka John. He is the first to do this video, and full disclosure, we've been friends for a few years now, so yeah.
I'm playing guinea pig.
Yep, you are the guinea pig. You were the first of many, I hope. So anyway, to summarize what the interview thing is gonna be, I'm calling it, if I can talk, shooting some shit. And that's pretty much what we're going to be doing. I want to hear stories. That's about it. So, John, where were you born?
Uh, Texas, Lone Star State.
Nice. And you're up in Kansas, aren't you?
No, I'm
Or
back in Texas.
did you move to Kansas, or am I thinking of someone else? I've got to
I'm
be.
thinking of somebody
Yeah, I've
else.
got to be thinking of someone else.
Never in Kansas. It
Shit.
was Indiana.
That's what it was. That's what it was. I knew you'd gone there and back. So, what's your eye conditions? Did you get those when you were born?
Yep, optic nerve hypoplasia.
Nice. What's your acuity?
Didn't develop 20 over 200,
That sounds about
roughly
right.
speaking. That's about where I was the last time I had a numerical check. I don't know where if I'm still there. All I know is my vision is stable, non-deteriorating. If it does deteriorate, it's very little and due to other factors.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I'm stuck with too. So how was your childhood like?
Pretty good. Good.
Good,
When my
average.
mom, yeah, when my mom figured out that I wasn't going to be playing sports with the rest of the kids because of my vision, though, she put a controller to an old Atari 2600 in my hands and sparked a lifelong love of all things gaming.
We'll find something for him to do, damn it.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, that was pretty much how it was for me too. So you started with Atari. What games you start with?
I don't remember. So far back, I barely remember the Atari days. All I do remember is frustrating my biological time because I kept beating his high scores.
That's great. What's the first game you remember?
That's
Hmm?
the first game I remember was actually an old PC DOS title called Jill of the Jungle.
Oh, I remember that game.
I also remember the original Duke Nukem, the side-scrolling shooter Duke
Yep.
Nukem.
Back before he got John St. John to voice him.
Yup.
Back when he was
Yep.
oranger than our former president.
More orange than Chester Cheeto.
Yep. It's not easy being Duke. Apogee was the shit back in the day, man. You'd get some fucking shareware discs, or you'd find them in magazines, and you just go ham on them.
Yup.
Oh, those were some good old days. They don't have demos like that anymore.
Speaking of many years later, another shareware title entered my purview of investigation. Ironically enough, one of the first games by the game developers who are now most famous for the Unreal Engine and Gears of War series.
What's that?
It was a little fighting game called One Must Fall 2097.
I remember it. That was a fun one. It
it
wasn't the best.
great.
It was no Street Fighter, but we were running on DOS. We were lucky to get anything even remotely close to Street Fighter. I mean, there was a Street Fighter release, but it was so goddamn buggy it wasn't worth playing.
It was good. And actually, if you look into other promotional material and other information surrounding One Must Fall 2097, the original designers looked at Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat and thought, hey, we want to do this too. We want to make a fighting game with enough brutality to make people question, but without the blood so we don't get the backlash. So why don't we go with giant robots?
They tried to have their cake and eat it too. Yeah.
And it
I
worked.
know. Yeah, I did. I know id and Apogee did the same thing with Commander Keen. They wanted to make a Mario, and that was the closest they could get, and it spawned the shareware model pretty much.
Yeah, and
So,
there were like 15 different, wasn't it 15 different Commander Keen
oh
games
yeah,
throughout
there's
the
fucking
years?
tons of them. I know there was 1 through 6, which were 3 episode sharewares. There was Keen Dreams, which was a freebie. There was Zombies Ate My no, not Zombies Ate My Neighbors. That's a different game. Some zombie game that was also that. They did 3-episode blocks, though. That was Apogee's thing. And I know Jill of the Jungle was also a 3-episode block game. Those are really popular, come to think of it.
It was an Apogee.
Mm-hmm.
It was an Apogee.
And now they're coming back.
Yep.
Little by little, Crystal Cave, Secret Agent, that's all on Steam now.
Mm-hmm.
So do you remember anything? Do you remember anything fun from
Jungle? Jill of the Jungle is now abandonware.
Yeah, a lot of those games are.
All 3 in the series is abandonware.
Have you found any gems going through the abandonware sites?
A couple.
Because we all find the old ones, but every so often you'll find one you hadn't played as a kid, or you might have seen it in a magazine or seen it in a video or something like that. It's like, oh, I remember that game. I'm gonna look it up.
Tyrion 2000.
Oh, that was a great one.
Yeah.
The one I found was Rockstar. It came out in 1985. It was a text game, and it was fucking amazing. I love that game. You get to be a rock star and do all of the drugs, and they included not only visual stimulus from all the LSD, but audible stimulus too. So even blind people could enjoy it if they used JAWS. God help them for using JAWS.
JAWS for DOS was horrible.
JAWS for DOS with text games was the drizzling shits. You could make it work, but boy, you had to work at it.
Oh yeah.
So, do you have any fun stories of middle or high school?
Not really.
Just kind of did the work, muscled through it.
Did the work, slept through most of the classes, and it was just boring to me.
No dates or nothing.
Not really.
And just kind of coasting, yeah.
Yeah, I had my share of relationship troubles. I normally attract crazies. Not really worth talking about.
The important thing is you learned lessons from them, I assume.
Oh, yeah.
Every failure is a lesson to be learned from. At the very least, you can not fail the same way twice.
Exactly. And if nothing else, the lesson you learned is what not to look for.
Yeah, that's pretty much my parents in a nutshell. I learned not to look for mentally disabled, and I learned not to settle from my dad and my mom, respectively. So what'd you do after high school? Did you get into college or anything?
I did go through college. I actually took a couple of different attempts at college before I finally made it through something.
Did you get a bachelor's or what was it, an AA? I think they're called associate's degree. That's what they're called. Oh, you got a bachelor's? Nice. Where'd you get it?
Yep, I got a bachelor's. I've got a double bachelor's.
Nice.
I have one in network systems administration and computer repair.
Ah, you got computers of the wave of the future.
Yeah.
I caught that shit, and then when I tried to get into college too.
Unfortunately, both degrees are from a dead school.
Oh.
Absolutely zero weight.
Oh no.
You ever heard of a little controversy surrounding a wonderful place known as ITT Tech?
Oh no, you got fucked on that one, man. Oof.
I happen to be in their final ever graduating class.
Damn, that's something to hang your hat on, though. Honestly, as a meme, you could totally put that up on Twitter in your byline.
I was one of the last graduates of a dead school.
Yep. Especially when you say it's ITT Technical Institute, people are going to lose their shit at that. I'm guessing that was either a Voc Rehab thing or something that was told for you by a friend or something. Because I cannot see you looking into something like that.
There's actually a bit of a story behind it.
Oh?
So originally, I'd gone through and tried to get an art degree, a video game design degree.
Yeah.
This was way back in the day, right after high school. I tried for game design.
Yeah, all of us 80s and 90s kids wanted to make games.
I did not enjoy that program. So I got out of that. Then I tried for a digital music degree, to learn to and produce music production stuff.
Do what all blind people are apparently good at.
Yeah. And while I sort of enjoyed some of it, but I didn't really enjoy getting down to the note theory and doing the musical theory stuff, because I've always been a creative that knows what sounds good.
Yeah, you go by ear.
Yeah, I don't have to know the theory behind it to know that it sounds good. If that makes sense.
No, that makes sense. It's instinctive.
So I sort of got bored with that and let that go by the wayside. Then I went off and did a stint at a training center for the blind here in Texas, the Chris Cole Center. Did a stint there. Left that, and then years and years down the road, my mom was like, "Hey, I'm thinking about going back to college." And I made mom a deal. If you go back to college, I'll go back to
Yeah, kind of a double motivation thing.
Yeah, we went back to college. We went to our local community college. Unfortunately, mom didn't do so hot due to other stressors in her life interfering with her learning. And I just got bored and kind of sort of gave up.
Yeah.
We both got, I was nearly all the way through a repair degree from there at Temple College, but I had all of the credits I needed for at least 3 certificates from there. And I was still doing the double bachelor's like I ended up doing at ITT.
So you transferred?
No, they couldn't transfer.
Oh, so you had to start from scratch.
I had to start from scratch, but it was fine because when I was learning at the community college, we were working with like beginning Windows 7, end of life Windows Vista, and getting into stuff like that.
So this was like late aughts.
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
No?
No. Temple College was early to mid 2000s.
Oh, okay. I'm just trying to get the timeline straight.
No, it was 2010s. Early to mid 2010s.
Oh, okay. So I was a little early. Okay.
Yeah. Early to mid 2010s. Somewhere in there. About 15, 16, somewhere in there. But that's what they were working with at the time because they were a local community college. And at the time when we ended up doing ITT, it was only about 3 or 4 years ago. Mom and I decided to look into going back to school because we had maxed out our the free money, the free grants, the Pell grants.
Yeah, the FAFSA stuff.
Yeah, we would have to rely on loans if we went back to finish college.
Which is what they rely on.
Yes, unfortunately, it is.
The biggest, baddest thud.
Yeah. Both mom and I got tricked into it together as a united front.
It happens, man.
We both attended classes together and both graduated with I did a double, mom didn't.
Well, I mean, there's something to be said. There's something to be said for actually achieving your goal there.
Yeah. Mom just went for the repair side, whereas I'm the one that went and doubled off and tried to get the extra credits needed to also claim the network systems administration, because there wasn't that much of a difference between the two courses. There was
so why not
classes?
Yeah, so why not just go for double?
For one that you didn't need for the other.
So is your mom a geek too?
Other than that, a little bit of one.
Yeah, my mom was too.
She's more hardware. She's more hardware geek.
My mom was in that weird. Well, she was born in '46, so by the time the geek stuff kind of came around, she was a little bit older, so she didn't get into it hardcore. But like, for example, the first time she saw Mario 64, she burst into tears because she had never imagined that this, Atari style blocky technology could evolve to such a point. Mm-hmm. So that was the kind of.
She was like, my mom saw it and she's like, "That's cool. You'll have fun with that one here."
That's great, man. Because, I mean, you go on the internet and all you fucking hear is broken home, broken home, broken home. And it's like, fucking Christ.
I'm going to be honest. Things weren't always the best for me.
Oh, no, it never is.
Like, my biological father was abusive and did leave us. My stepdad was verbally abusive at times, never physically hit.
Was your bio dad physically abusive?
To mom, yes.
Ah, well, it's a good thing she left him.
Oh yeah, he was an alcoholic druggie.
Ah, that explains a lot.
Yeah.
So is your stepdad still in the picture, or
We still care about him. Him and my mom are no longer together, but we're still family friends.
kind of
Still the same.
amicable sort of thing? Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good. So you graduated, or you graduated ITT, and is that what led you into the accessibility stuff, or have you been doing that kind of alongside that, or?
I was doing that alongside that for years upon years. Little bitty MOBA game. You might have heard of it. Happened to be number one esport for a couple of years there. I don't know. League of Legends sound familiar?
Yeah, I may have heard of it.
Yeah, I played that back when it was first starting to release in beta phases.
My roommate tried to get me into it, and I couldn't get into it. I was able to play Heroes of the Storm because the map was a little easier for me to see, but with League of Legends, I just could not make heads or tails of it. The best character I played was Rammus.
So you know that nice little convenient little ping or tone that a lot of these MOBAs now have that let you know audibly, hey, yo, you're the target of a tower. You might want to move.
Yeah, those things are ass savers.
I was one of the instrumental linchpins in getting that situation set up in League of Legends, which
Nice. Well, I thank you.
I cannot confirm whether or not it was me that actually made it happen. All I can confirm is that during the beta of League of Legends, I went into the forums and started to make mention of my vision and how I would have problems and always die to the towers.
You were the drop in the bucket.
Yes. I died more to the tower than I did to the enemy.
Oh, I did too.
Like, enemy team could not get kills on me to save their lives, only maybe 1 or 2 per game. But I was feeding towers like nobody's business.
Yeah, I still fed towers even though I heard the noise because I could almost get those little fuckers.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I still feed towers even to this day, but that's because I'm aggressive and like to push them.
You feed towers because the towers have to eat too.
No, I feed towers because they have a sliver of health left and they get me before I get them.
Yep, and that's exactly what it is for me too. I see that little tiny sliver of health. It's like, oh, I can beat them. I can get the little fuckers. And sometimes I can, and most times I can't. I'm the same way with bosses in MMOs.
Yep. But I went into the forums and I got that discussion started, and a couple patches later,
lo and behold,
I'm in a game, and all of a sudden I hear ping. I'm like, oh, I hear that ping and see my health starting to drop. Oh, thank you.
was that your kind of break into the industry, or is that like one of your biggest coups? Because I'm kind of curious how you broke into it, because I'm betting it's a hell of a lot different than how I broke into it.
That was it, actually.
That was how you broke in. Nice.
Yeah, that was my first instance of doing anything accessibility related in gaming.
And then what? You found Ian, and it just kind of rolled from there.
I don't do much, honestly. Not these days.
No, neither do I.
Where I can, I try to provide feedback. Like, another example of a good thing I've done in the industry is Elite Dangerous. This one's the one I'm most proud of.
I think you told me about this one. Yeah, I love this story.
So, I had gotten Elite from a Humble Bundle. I don't know how long ago.
Back when Humble Bundle was good.
Yeah. I mean, they're still all right. They still give out some pretty decent games.
Ever since IGN bought them, the bundles have been shit. The monthly ones have been okay.
Yeah. The choice have been good. The regular bundles have been Anyways, so I got it, and I'd been sitting on it for a while, and I knew it was a complicated game, and I was unsure of whether or not I could even play it with my vision the way it is. And a buddy of mine got to talking about it. I'm like, I do have Elite. I've never booted it up, but I do have it. I guess I'll give it a shot. Booted it up, tried it. First time I tried to dock, I couldn't because of my vision. I could not see where I was supposed to be going, what I was supposed to be doing. Like, I knew how to do it because I'd watched the video tutorials and everything like that, but I couldn't navigate to the right spot, right?
Yeah.
So I put it down, uninstalled it. That was the deal.
Like you do.
Told my buddy I wasn't going to be able to do it. And then he informs me that did you know that there's a docking computer in the game? I'm like, no, I did not. How do I go about acquiring one? And we got together, guided me, actually sat in his ship and guided me to the platform that lit up at the station so that I could buy the docking computer. And he even went and grabbed a wing mission that he could run, share with me, and turn in to get me enough credits to buy it. Once I got that docking computer, that's it. I was off flying around the galaxy. I was lost in that game. I was immersed. It was good.
Yep. That's generally how it is. I've had it happen with me with a few games. You really want to play it. You almost can play it, and you can't quite play it. You get in touch with the dev, they add a feature or something, and then it's like biting into a foodstuff that you've never had before that is amazing, and you knew was going to be amazing, but even manages to exceed your expectations. The last game like that for me was Aeronor, which I cannot wait to see you play that one. That's going to be amazing. You did buy it?
I did pick it up.
Nice.
I did, and I did a little bit of messing around in the Gauntlet mode.
I think Gauntlet mode's the one where they don't have the overworld, yeah.
Yes, that's the way I wanted to play it for the first couple of times, just so I could try to learn how the.
That's the best thing about. That's the best thing about that game is that you can just play it however you want. The dev expects it. The dev wants you to play it however you want. Did you buy all the DLCs or?
I did.
Nice.
I did. Why not? I mean, why not buy all the DLCs?
I'm a completionist. Unless it's absolute crap, I have to have the DLCs. What if I miss content? I can't miss content.
I know, right? That's the worst thing in the world. But eventually, with the Elite Dangerous thing, I ended up getting into the forums, and I told my story in the forums as a suggestion, like, hey, consider giving small ships, or at least the starter Sidewinder. You don't have to do it to any other ship, but at least give the starter Sidewinder a docking computer by default on new player accounts.
And see, that isn't even an accessibility thing. That's just a good idea.
I mean, I understand at the time of the game's initial launch, it was designed for a more hardcore audience that didn't want, need, or even care for the docking computer.
Ah.
But over time, the game started attracting players who used voice control software like Voice Attack and everything like that. And the devs saw this and were like, okay, for accessibility for these players, we will include a docking computer, but we want players to learn how to dock on their own without the use of one first. Because it's a convenience. It's a quality of life. That's the way they saw it in their eyes. And then I brought up, whenever I told my story, it brought to mind players who, for whatever reason, whether it be physical disability or visual disability, cannot dock. Even if they know how, they understand how, that there is that barrier there that prevents it or makes it more hassle than it's worth.
I don't necessarily view it as a bad thing for devs to look at the demo of their audience and notice that it's shifting and shift their game in response to the demo. Because I feel like that's what they did. They noticed that, okay, we made a game for we made a game for hardcore players, but we noticed there's a lot of newbies, there's a lot of disabled people, there's a lot of people who would benefit from this feature. So, okay.
Yeah. Now, at the time, it was not included on small ships by default. Now, though, with an update post the discussions I had in the forums, all small ships, including the starter Sidewinder. So if you buy a Sidewinder, a Vulture, any sort of small ship that most commanders, newer commanders, would upgrade to from their little Sidewinder, they all have that docking computer built into them.
And sometimes
ships now have that.
And sometimes it is just a matter of asking, just letting the dev know, hey, this is my situation. Do you think there's anything you can do to help?
Yeah.
Because that's what got... Go ahead.
Now, by the time you get to a medium or a large ship, it's expected that you understand how to go into outfitting and take the docking computer from your old ship and move it over to your new one. That's why they don't have it on the medium or large ships, because by the time you get to that point, you're experienced enough that you either don't need it because you know how to dock on your own, or you know how to move it because
Yeah.
you've learned menus.
And it keeps the overall ambiance of the game. It's not, it's not hand-holding you.
Yeah. But it's on all the small ships because that way it doesn't matter what path you want to go down, whether you want to buy the little bitty teeny tiny Asp Explorer or Diamondback Explorer or Scout or whatever, or not the Explorer, not the Explorer, the Scout. Asp Scout's a small ship.
Yeah.
Diamondback Scout. I forget all the ships. It's been so long since I've played, but whatever small ship you want to jump into for mining or exploration or whatever your goal is, it's going to have that docking computer. So you're still going to have the benefit of that free, easy path for your docking until you either decide that you don't need it and disable it, or take it off, sell it, move it to your new ship, or whatever you do with it. And I love that.
So aside from Elite, I know you've been trying to get me into Minecraft. I know you've been playing that forever with mods. Have you done anything accessibility wise with that, or is it just you happen to be able to play that one properly?
I happen to be able to play that one well enough.
I still wish I knew why Vox Games gave me migraines. This is the dumbest shit ever. And God, we tried so many visual mod packs. We tried downgrades. We tried upgrades. It gave me a migraine every time.
And you've even tried smooth texture packs like Faithful.
Yeah, you gave me like 10 to 20 of those damn things just over the course of a few years now, and we could not get it working. But I know blind people can play it, kinda. I know. Well, I mean, it's a pretty accessible. It's a pretty accessible game in general, just because of the creative mode.
Yeah, there is a mod for the Fabric mod loader that enhances the accessibility even further.
Yep, I've been seeing a lot of posts on audiogames.net about it.
Yeah.
So what have you been playing recently other than Air North?
Incremental games.
Ah.
Little idlers, watch number get big.
Yep, the ultimate Skinner box.
Hurry up and wait.
Yeah. You were commenting about how your personality is such. Why do you like those games?
Yes, I'm one of the most impatient people in the universe, and yet I have the fascination with watching numbers get big.
That's why I can't stop playing Hades.
Waiting.
Even though my fingers just start seizing up now, I cannot stop playing Hades because I'm just impatient. Go, 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 dodge, 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 etc., etc.
I get you there.
Can't wait for Hades 2. That's going to be a bomb game.
I'm looking forward to that.
Another
game I'm looking forward to is Rift of the Necrodancer.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that one. I suck at Necrodancer. I don't know what it is. There's a delay, and I'm pretty sure it's in my brain. I've taken reaction time tests. I'm well within the normal bell curve, but for some reason, Necrodancer, I'm always off by like a second, like a quarter of a second, and it drives me insane. So it pisses me off, and I quit.
It's the thing that makes Necrodancer harder than I'd say most other even tile-based roguelikes is not only do you have to do the normal turn-based roguelike thing of planning a few turns ahead and understanding how the board's going to change, but you also have to have that timing down.
Yeah.
And you have to have your moves ready in that split second. Just 1, 2, 3, one after another, non-stop.
And I can do the planning. I just can't do the moving, apparently.
Yeah, it's the
your brain either clicks with it or it doesn't, and mine just doesn't.
Yes. My brain clicks with the rhythmic moving of it, but as I'm trying to stay on the beat and making these rhythmic patterns, hitting that beat, I miss the planning.
Yeah, we're on opposite sides of the coin.
One or the other.
Yep, we're on opposite sides of the coin there.
I can only do one or the other at the same time. I can't do both. You can do the planning. I can do the rhythm.
If only there was a way to combine
Bard mode.
Bard mode?
Yes.
What's that?
I tried Bard. Bard mode is basically you can enable it in the settings. I forget where, and it's different depending on which version of the game you're running. But Bard mode essentially takes out the move on the beat part.
Yeah, that makes sense. I thought there was a character. I thought there was a character that did that before. They must have changed it into an option.
There is a character that does that, and that was the initial implementation of it. But after they implemented it for Cadence of Hyrule, they got enough people that begged and asked for it to be brought in so that it could be done with every character in the original base game.
Well, that's fair enough.
In their latest update, which includes another DLC with even more crazy things like multiplayer.
Oh god, I can't
PvP,
imagine. Oh god, that would be amazing.
PvP Necrodancer.
I want to see Meshuggah do a PvP of Necrodancer. With their jank ass time signatures, that'd be funny as hell. So interesting game in terms of accessibility. Have you gotten into Factorio at all?
No.
I keep trying to get into it, but my autism, or maybe not, we're not sure.
I have seen the accessibility mod that you speak of, that you're referring to. A buddy of mine shared it with me.
I don't know. I'm not even talking about mods. I'm just saying the original game itself, it allows for UI scaling and all that shit. I didn't actually know there were accessibility mods, although it doesn't surprise me at all, considering how big the modding scene is for that game.
It's relatively fresh. I'm not sure of the status on it, but whenever I first saw it, it was in early to mid stages of development, and everything worked really well. Proof of concept. It was just a bit jank and a bit clunky in how you had to go about it, but it is a mod that makes the game completely playable through keyboard and screen reader.
Nice. That actually wouldn't be that hard comparatively. I mean, this isn't something like RimWorld, for God's sakes. RimWorld would be damn near impossible to make blind playable, but Factorio you could if you took out the bugs until such time as you could add in proper audio cueing for where they are, like actual proper panning.
That was part of it. Like, you could hear them come up, but you couldn't hear exactly where they are or anything like that.
Yeah, because in base game you've got your stereo panning.
Yeah.
But I figure for blind people you'd need more than just base stereo. You'd need proper.
You would need at least a second axis.
Yeah, you'd need tonal shifts and stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, without bugs, you just build your factory.
Mm-hmm.
So what have you...
I've seen it.
Yeah. I mean, there's so friggin' many mods now. That's the other reason why I haven't been doing very much in terms of accessibility, is there's just not that much to do. It's finally trickling in to where my original thing is not really needed. People are adding options, which is great. Like I said, my whole goal was to be out of an accessibility job. So slowly but surely.
Yeah, we're slowly running ourselves out of work. What do we do next?
We're becoming obsolete. Well, I run interviews. That's what I do. I don't know what the fuck you're gonna do. You're going to incrementally watch numbers get big.
Apparently.
I'm gonna run interviews and describe games and go for walks and stuff.
That sounds like a plan.
Yep. So what are your plans for the future? What do you think you're going to do in the next year or 2 or 5 or whatever?
I don't know. Things are up in the clouds.
Nothing really nailed down. So you're just kind of waiting for an opportunity to present itself?
Sort of. I'm in search of an opportunity. I'm also considering various ideas and paths forward.
Well, I know you used to stream, and you're not really doing that much anymore, and I know
I miss streaming.
How come you don't do it anymore?
Because I am culturally problematic.
Oh, fuck that. So am I, and I still do it. To my 1 or 2 friends who stops by.
So I decided to make the executive decision to cancel myself before I could get removed from any platform.
It just reminds me of that fucking scene in Disco Elysium where Harry pulls out Kim's gun and puts it in his mouth to prove a point. And you can actually blow your head off to prove a point on principle. That's pretty much what you did. Fuck you, cancelers. I hate all of you. I'll cancel myself. Boom.
Yup.
Insane cop dies by principles.
Yeah.
You Tiananmen yourself.
I'm not afraid to do it. we've got to stand up for what we believe in and what we see as right
Yeah.
some way, and this is my way.
Yep. And for me, time dies slowly. And when I'm not walking, I need something to do. And just sometimes I don't feel like describing. Sometimes I don't feel like interviewing people. Well, since I just started, I can't really say that yet. But I have to assume it's going to happen at some point.
Yeah, true.
Sometimes I just want to shoot the shit with people on my streams. All nobody who shows up. So it's always kind of nice to have that in the back pocket, you know?
Yeah, I get you there.
I feel like you should have a project of some kind, but I don't know if you're as work motivated as I am. I'm way too work motivated for my own good.
I'm considering whether I actually feel like writing a couple of books.
That might not be a bad idea. What would they be
I
about?
just don't know. I just don't know where I would go about publishing
Eh,
books.
my wife's
How I would go
doing
about doing it.
my wife's doing writing. She says she's going to publish on Amazon probably.
That's what I'd look into too, probably. But the books I want to write are in a genre known as lit RPG. Think
What?
Sword Art Online in book form.
Oh, okay. That sounds interesting. So fictional stuff.
Yes. Thing about doing it in book form is you can actually get a better sense of the author's divined out game system and how everything works, because every now and then you can get them to link you a stat table.
Yeah, world building and stuff. Universe building in
Yeah,
this case.
it's really interesting to see that and how it all breaks down. And because I've had such ideas for a world for role playing games like RPG setting,
And since nobody plays D&D live anymore,
yeah, true.
how far have you
I
gotten
think
into it?
into the world creation,
Into
I've
the
been
book.
creating this for years. Into the books, I haven't actually started writing any, but I've got the storyline pretty much nailed.
That's good. It sounds like all you really need to do is just put pen to paper, or, fingers to keyboard, as it were.
Yeah, put fingers to keyboard, get it all starting to write out, put names and situations together and everything like that. But essentially, the gist of my plan is going to be a blind individual gets the opportunity to test a full dive VR MMO.
Oh, that's interesting. There's a hole.
Find,
There's a hole in that niche that book idea could fill very nicely.
yes, actually, there is. There's a couple of books that have done it where they've taken disabled main characters into VR settings and everything like that.
But from this position of you actually being in that, in that low vision and having been around so many blind people as you have.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. There is one author that I think did it pretty well in his depictions of a blind person outside of a VR game. Bushido Online is the name of the series. It follows the story of a martial artist. I forget what his main style of choice was, but he was a martial artist and went blind when one of his opponents pulled a dirty trick and went for the eyes.
Yeah.
Caused him to lose his sight, and he's now no longer ever able to see again. And they depict his struggles in reality fairly accurately to what it would be for a person.
I assume the author either knew someone or sourced the information. Good for him.
It's possible. It's a pretty interesting book. Even the story that goes on within the game world of Bushido Online, it's insanely interesting. There's only 4 books in the series right now, ending with one called the Patchy Festival. There. It's sort of a double entendre, with Pachi being a Japanese treat, and Pachi also representing patch, as in the world patch for an MMO.
Yeah.
Update it. Yeah, and that's what I thought was kind of cool.
What are you going to do to differentiate your world from theirs?
Mine is science fantasy.
Ah.
Theirs was set in a more feudal Japan fantasy lore type setting.
And I assume your main character...
Mine is the world I've created is think Star Wars combined with Lord of the Rings and a tidbit of Dragon Ball Z thrown
No
in.
10 pages of screaming, please.
No, it's not quite like that.
I had to
But
make the joke.
it's sort of like that weird combination of
Yeah.
mismatched ideas of everything rolled into one.
And I assume your blind character is going to have been blind since birth.
Yes.
Yeah, that'll differentiate it well from the other project. Because that's the important thing when you're taking inspiration is you don't want to take too much inspiration and turn it into Terry Brooks and make the Sword of Shannara mistake. Because Sword of Shannara was almost exactly like the original Lord of the Rings. And now his later books completely deviated from that, and thank God they did. But that first book is a hard read if you're a Tolkien fan. It's like, wait a fucking minute. You know? I liked it. I thought it was a good book, but nobody else agrees with me.
But yeah, I love the lit RPGs. I've sort of fell into it originally with a series called The World.
I don't think I'm familiar with that one.
It's really good and it's essential read.
God, I miss reading.
It is an essential read.
I miss being able to read my books with my eyes. Now I have to read them with my ears.
Yes.
Thank,
it is a sad thing.
thank God Larry A. McKeever is such a great reader. I keep mentioning him. He is so fucking boring. Nobody likes hearing him read except for me. I listen to him read Mitchner's every night to knock my ass out, and I listen to him on my walks to cut. He dulls my brain. He is a painkiller. He is amazing. I can walk for 20 miles if I can listen to him. It's fucking great.
I'd have to look because I think the majority of my books in my Audible library are from one narrator.
Yeah. Because, I mean, like, there's other narrators. There's other narrators, like Joe Mantegna, you know, Fat Tony from The Simpsons. He narrated Thinner by Stephen King. Did an amazing job. There are other, readers who do amazing jobs. And all I want to do is listen to the boring guy. Because when he utters a swear, it is the funniest shit ever because he does it so deadpan and so dry. And even the bad swears that I can't say on YouTube, because Mitchner does historical books, and some history in the South is a little unpleasant.
Most of the books in my library are done by Travis Baldree as the narrator.
Oh, nice.
I don't know if you're familiar with his work.
I am not.
He's got the tone of a kindly old grandfather just looking to tell you a story.
Oh, those are the best. Stephen Fry did an amazing version of Harry Potter. Everyone likes the Jim Dale version. I love the Stephen Fry version.
I don't know. I'm partial to the Jim Dale. Just
a lot of people are. That's what they grew up with.
Yeah. I even my Audible library only has the Jim Dale.
Yeah, Stephen Fry's UK only. I had to go through some hoops to get that thing. And by that, I mean I had to pay my roommate $30 and he got it for me off of UK Audible.
Well, there you go.
Thank you, Derek. Click. Boy, those are some big fucking files to put on my little MP3 player.
Mm-hmm. But no, I love the style of Travis. He reads a lot of the books in the lit RPG and dungeon core subgenres.
Interesting series of books. I don't know if you've heard of them or not, but well, two of them. The Iron Druid series and oh fuck, what was that fucker's name? Jim Butcher. Dresden. Yeah, my roommate will not shut the fuck up about Dresden. He loves him some Dresden.
I have heard of Dresden Files. I haven't actually tried reading through them.
I tried the first book. It was okay. I don't get what all the hubbub's about, but I figure, they like it, so I'll recommend it. And then Iron Druid was good, but it kind of petered off.
Yeah,
I'm
not a big fan. I'm not a big fan of your more traditional, big popular books that everybody recommends. Like Discworld or Dresden Files or.
Discworld seems like a series I would be into, except for the sheer amount of books I'd have to go through.
I just I don't know. It's something about my personality or whatever, but if it seems to be insanely culturally popular or relevant for whatever reason, I just can't get into it, no matter how hard I try.
Generally, what'll happen with me is I'll find something I really like, and then it turns out it's popular. It's like, well, shit. Like Battle Royale. I was loving Battle Royale before the movie had come out because I'd read the book, and the first translation of the book, oh god, it was so horrible. There were so many mistakes, but it was such a good book. And then the movie came out, and then it got all super popular, and they retranslated it and turned it into a manga and all this other shit.
Sometimes I get lucky enough that I enjoy something that happens to be or get popular, but for the most part, most of the things that I like and enjoy are very, very niche.
John, you are too bald to be a hipster.
I don't know about that.
What, are hipsters all now bald too? Were you bald before it was cool?
Apparently.
Don't worry, I'm bald too. That's what the webcam is for, to prove that I'm exactly as bald as I say I am.
Now, I'm not quite there yet. I still have some hair on the back of my head, so.
No, I've got sides and back, but the top is just gone.
Yep, top and front, gone.
Yep.
Where'd it go? I've got hair everywhere but on top of my head.
Yep. My hair all went to my beard, which I'm fine with.
Yeah.
It keeps my face warm. I don't need the hair on top of my head. I have a hat. Which I do. I wear a hat everywhere. Because if I don't, my poor Scottish head will get roasty, toasty, and burned to hell.
I don't know. I can't stand wearing hats. I've tried.
I have to. The sunburn. The first time I got a sunburn and it started peeling, I was like, nope, wearing hats. I don't care. I wear the lightest hats I can find, but hats I have to wear. So.
I feel that. I prefer to just not go out in the sun.
Yeah, but with the weird thing is with the weight loss, I'm actually fine in the summer now. My lungs aren't, but I am. But in the winter, I am fucked now. Like turbo super mega fucked. I've got Raynaud's disease now. That's where you don't get enough circulation into your extremities. So my hands and my feet become all dusky blue and dead. And then all of a sudden, just swoosh, all the blood goes right into them and they turn all pink and blown up and ugh, it's terrible. So I gotta talk to my doctor about that next week. But yeah, I just love that after all the weight loss, it's the same shit. It's exactly as bad. All the shit I said to my doctors about, oh no, my weight loss is not the problem. It's all the other crap that's the problem. Turned out to be exactly right. How are you doing on that front? You still packing an extra few pounds, or you losing weight, or?
I'm still within my own personal acceptable range.
Nice, that's good. Because the big thing. Go ahead.
I stay anywhere between 240 and 280, which is slightly overweight for my height and build, but I'm also big boned.
Yeah.
I'm not going to start worrying about my weight and about my health for weight safety unless I start pushing the scale over 300.
Yeah, I learned that I am very broad-shouldered because all those clothes that I had that we thought would fit me after I lost all the weight don't fit me because my shoulders are way, 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 way too big. And I didn't know that.
That's the thing. I think at least in the considerations of what they consider acceptable weight and everything like that, I think there's a bit of a disconnect.
Oh God, yes.
Not everyone is built the same. Of course, they have the quote average range, but I think personally there's still some people because of bone density and broad shoulders and build.
I think the BMI is full of shit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying too. Their actual BMI where they should be at sets a bit higher than what the paper says.
I'm almost positive that I'm actually underweight now. I'm 208 and I cannot lose any more weight. I have tried and it just will not get lower. And I'm pretty sure I'm actually underweight, that my ideal weight should be within the 220 to 250 range. But I want to hear a doctor say it first. I want to hear a doctor say, look, you went from 383 down to 200. You can stop. Because of all the fucking years, and I'm sure you caught this shit too from your doctors, you need to lose weight. You're going to get diabetes. And all these...
I still hear that. Would you like to know what weight they expect me to be at?
I'm gonna guess based on your voice, 170.
You're close. 180 tops.
Oh, you're taller than I thought.
Yeah, I'm 5'9".
Oh no, you're broader than I thought.
Yeah.
You're broader than me, I tell you that.
They want me at 180.
Yeah, they probably, I mean, like, if you use BMI, I think I'm supposed to be at, like, 170, 180, something like that, because I'm 5'10", or 5'11", according to the wife. She hates the fact that I'm just under 6 feet, but it's like, I was born 3 months early. I'm lucky I'm even fucking below, I'm lucky I'm even above 5'8".
Yeah. But I personally think that I'm good. I'm solid. No.
Yeah.
It
Well,
would
I
be
mean,
a
the other,
miracle if I could maintain like 180 is a pipe dream. I
well,
am happy within my 120 to 180 range.
220 to
I say,
280.
yeah, 220 to 280. And it's like that because in the summer I sweat a lot. I overactive sweat glands person.
Yeah.
I sweat a lot.
Well, that'll get rid of your water weight.
Yeah, that's exactly the thing. All the water weight leaves, and I get down to anywhere between 220 and 240 during the summer months.
You're a little blind balloon.
And during the winter, I puff up to closer to 280 because of all the good food.
Yeah, well, I mean, who doesn't, right?
Yeah.
What about physical activity? You keeping yourself busy in that?
I do what I can when I can where I can. Other than that, I prefer to stay inside where it's nice and
Yeah, I totally get that. Once we get
whatever the opposite of the external weather is that would cause me issues.
Yeah, right. I feel that. If I'm hot, it's my lungs. If I'm cold, it's my joints. Fuck. When we move, I'm eventually when we get a house and we get a basement, I'm gonna build a gym in there so I can not have to leave as often.
Yeah, I feel that.
But I mean, my 25-pound dumbbells that I found near a trash can ended up working out pretty well. We epoxied the end of them so the damn weights won't ever fall off, because I'm not going to change them. I'm not going to fuck with them. So,
Hey, there you go.
225-pound dumbbells, that's the only equipment I have. Everything else is just like doing push-ups off the bed and going for walks at ungodly hours of the day. But yeah, it's not even so much the scale, it's just keeping your joints moving, keeping your muscles moving, so that when something does come up, you can adapt to it. Because if you go from
That's really ultimately it. And I do a lot of that. Like I'll get up and I'll pace. I'll walk around the house. I'll stretch my legs. I usually spend at least, I don't know, 30 to 45 total minutes spread throughout the day. Up, moving, stretching, walking around.
Yeah, and that's what you should be doing. And I think a lot of people sleep on that. Everybody talks about how you should be this weight or that weight. No, you should be doing this much or that much physical, stuff to keep your joints moving, to keep your muscles moving, to keep everything moving, all your machine well oiled and all that crap.
The thing a lot of people don't understand is your body's smart. It knows sort of what it needs. It knows sort of what it wants. Now, granted, you've got to temper that with your own knowledge of science and stuff like that. But
and your own addiction to dopamine.
Yeah. But if you trust and listen to your body, it'll tell you what it needs.
Oh yeah, and that is a big trick, and I wish I knew how to teach people how to do that. Is how to listen to your body, because like my body back when I was 300, 380, all that would crave, tater tots and nugs and all that other processed crap food, and the reason it was craving that is because I was in so much pain. I needed literally anything to make the pain stop, and dopamine is a hell of a good drug to make pain stop. And now that I've learned to listen to my body better, like I'll know when I need vegetables. I won't know why I need them, but I know I'll need them, like tomatoes, or like I'll need salt. Salt is I don't know if this is just for all fibro patients, but salt is my fucking mecca. I love salt. Like I eat tons of saltines. And for whatever reason, if I eat a sleeve of saltines in a day, I will lose weight. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I may not lose much, but I will lose.
I'm with you on salt. I'm with you on salt. I have bit of a salt addiction myself.
Well, saltines are the best delivery vector of salt there is, because it doesn't give you any of the processed crap. It's literally just salt on nothing.
Well, I like it on French fries.
I do too, but I don't like all the crap that goes along with it. If I'm going to do anything for French fries nowadays, I'll just bake a potato and dump a shit ton of salt on that. Like, I don't even put any fucking butter on it. Just bake potato, dump salt, mix, maybe add a can of peas or something, go to town.
I'm gonna be honest. I am nowhere near the prime shining example of food nut.
Eh,
I'm purely meat and potatoes man.
when I was
Food, and
when I was
everything unhealthy.
yeah, when I
I'll
was a
freely
baby,
admit it.
my mom was obsessed with making me eat everything. Not like everything on a plate. I mean, just all the different foods that were out there, so that I wouldn't be one of those kids who hates vegetables. I love food, and my big issue with weight was that I ate way too much of it.
Mhm. See,
But,
I've just learned to eat what I like and learn my limits.
yeah, that was a tough lesson to learn. Nowadays I can get about 45% full and feel happy, but back in the day I would have to get like 80,
I'm,
90% full, and no wonder I was gaining
I'm
weight.
also I'm also in search of a good multivitamin because I understand the way my diet is and the way my tastes are. I'm not getting the nutrients I need, so I want a good multivitamin to supplement.
The thing
At
I would
least I know
do,
my limit
yeah,
and understand it.
the thing I would do there is I would get a blood test and have them go through the whole rigmarole to see what your blood actually needs, and then get specific vitamins or find specific foods that give you those things. Like I'm mildly anemic, so I need a lot of iron in my diet, and tomatoes, beef, what have you, easy enough. But like if you're low on potassium, or you're low on B12, or you're low on vitamin D, or what have you, a blood test will tell you that, and then you can plan your diet around that. Are there foods that give me this, or this, or do I need a vitamin for it? It's not necessarily that you have to change your diet, it's just you have to
Well,
adjust.
that's the thing. I know I would need a vitamin for it because most of the things that give you certain vitamins, like your leafy greens, I can't handle the texture of.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm a
not a
bit of a
vegetable.
texture nut myself.
I'm not a vegetable eater. The only vegetables I can handle is corn, which is more of a starch, and peas.
Yeah, well, we know you need vitamin D. I use Centrum. I just Centrum once a
So
day.
that's why just a good multivitamin because I don't do fruits either. I'll drink fruit juice, but I can't handle actually eating the fruit.
I don't eat that much fruit either. I'm not a big juice guy.
A good multivitamin,
Yeah,
just a solid multivitamin's all I need.
something to dot the i's and cross the t's.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
I get everything else I need solid and good, and whatever is extra in the multivitamin is just going to flow through and be expelled from the system anyway. So
that's pretty much how it goes when you overindulge on certain vitamins and stuff. Anyway, it just comes out naturally.
yeah, the excess that you don't need,
Yeah,
you
and
don't
and
need.
honestly, that's not a bad approach to how you do things. You have to know yourself. You know yourself. You're not a big vegetable guy. You're not a big fruit guy. You're not a big going outside guy. You know you're gonna need vitamin D. You know you're gonna need vitamin C. You're probably gonna need vitamin A. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so you can just
Probably.
yeah, you can just go from there, get the vitamins you need, augment it. It won't be perfect, but until such time as something is actively wrong, you're probably okay with just vitamining up until something
Yeah.
something requires more adjustment.
Yep.
So let's see, what is our time at? Holy shit, we're almost at an hour.
Yeah. We can get it rolling.
Yeah.
This happens like that with me and anybody.
Well, yeah, we've done this before. We've done this off stream.
We just get talking and get rolling and just.
And that's kind of the idea of that's kind of the whole idea of the interview thing. I just like talking to people.
Yeah.
I like hearing stories. It is what it is. So do you have any memorable stories about dating in high school or anything like that? Anything you want to share with the class in terms of like lessons you learned that you can impart upon the younger generation of poor blind bastards who will take anybody who will have them? Was that a little too real? We've all been through there.
Yeah.
No, I got stories about accepting somebody who will have you. Boy, oh boy, do I have a story about that, but I'm curious if you.
Yeah.
I can actually feel the vault open in your brain.
The vault is opening, and I'm just looking through the stacks and stacks of memories, going, "Where do I even start?"
Well, I figure end on a lesson for the class. Figure anybody watching this, maybe they'll get something out of it. Maybe avoid the mistakes we've made.
I don't know about much of a lesson, but I can tell you a funny story of something that happened during my middle school years, roughly.
What's
It
up?
was at a summer camp.
Oh God, those are the best.
Yes, it was at a summer camp for us blind folk.
This one summer
A
at summer camp.
a certain individual that I know, I will not mention names here,
Just in
because of
case.
just in case they wind up finding your stuff. That this neither of the people that are involved in this are as technologically advanced per se as we are and hang in the same circles, I would say.
Yeah.
So I did, ironically enough, run into one of the that I know from my time there at this very same camp on Twitch. Yeah. Of all places, on Twitch as a streamer.
Oh, God.
Yeah. He streams Switch games every evening.
Wow.
Yeah.
They really have made it easy.
Apparently.
So anyway, you're at summer camp. What was this, when you were like 13, 14, something like that?
It was a middle school summer camp.
Yeah.
So I forget the exact age, but I know it was a middle school, so somewhere between 6th to 8th grade.
Yeah.
This might have been my first or second year at the summer program for the school. So one of the girls that I'd had a bit of a crush on at the time, she was dating someone else. Okay.
Isn't that the story of the ages?
Yeah, story of the ages. She's dating someone else. I've had a crush on her for a couple, like at least 2 years, because this was like the second or third year, like I said. So for a couple of years now, I'd seen her there at these summer events and kind of liked her. I was the type of person that had bad experiences, obviously, so I was never upfront and honest with a lot of my feelings. I have these little bitty crushes and be like, not meant to be, not worth my time. I'll let them come to me first, sort of people, right? So that's the kind of person I was. But so our dorm had needed some laundry detergent, and I was the one sent to run the errand to collect it from the girls' dorm right next door. Okay. I go in to collect said laundry detergent, and it is this individual that I mentioned that I've got a bit of a crush on, who is asked to take me back to the laundry area to fetch said detergent so that I could take it back to the dorm and everything would be good, right?
Yeah.
Well, while we're back there in this slightly secretive laundry room, she sneaks a kiss on me, obviously assuming that I was someone else.
Huh.
Uh-huh.
That's great. Good thing it happened back then. Fucking hell.
So I explained this, I explained this story. I was talking to a friend of mine at the time.
Yeah.
At dinner. I was talking to a friend of mine at the time, and I sort of explained what happened, and
Yeah.
then she goes off and decides to deny it.
Oh, Lord.
Somehow the
blind rumor mill works just as fast as every other mill.
Yes, it works just as quickly, and she makes a very public thing hearing about this, denying that it happened.
Probably because she was embarrassed.
Probably so. I mean, I'm not going to hold it against her, but the funny story part of this is what happens later, though. How I get a bit of revenge. Bit of a boys versus girls water gun fight.
Yeah.
She gets soaked. By me.
Of course.
And I'm happy about it. Just a little bit of friendly payback.
There you go. That's what she gets for lying.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna hold it against anybody because it was just kids doing stupid kid things.
Yeah.
Just a funny story that I remember.
Yeah, there was this wasn't the original story I was going to tell, but you mentioned summer camp and it brought back a memory of mine. We went to Marin Headlands back when I was in 5th grade. I was in normie school, and there was this girl who I'd known since 2nd grade. I did not put the pieces together that she liked me until I was long out of elementary school. I was really done with shit like that. She'd always been friendly with me, and I can, like, looking back on it, when we were in this week-long thing, dorms, same as you, doing activities, all that stuff, except these were all normie kids, and me. Why not? And there were, like, fucking 6 or 8 times when her and her mother were really strongly hinting, hey, Ryan, she likes you. I just never fucking got the message. I looked her up. She's still futzing around, and, she got a good life now. Great for her, and You can look up anybody on Facebook. I looked up my old Sully on Facebook. He hasn't updated it since 2018, but I saw him. Yep, that's D, some bitch. He looks the same as he always did.
You can finally find. You can probably find my Facebook account that probably hasn't been upgraded since like 2014.
Literally, the only reason I have Facebook is to talk to my roommate's mom.
It's funny. It's funny though, right? Because you remember back when Facebook was only for college kids.
Yep. All the MySpacers were like, it'll never catch on.
One of the colleges that I attended at the time, I think it was MCC, one of the little community colleges that I was attending, actually got lucky enough to be included in the Facebook list of beta participants. So guess what I did?
You had a Facebook before it was cool.
Yes.
God damn it.
I had a Facebook before it was cool.
Oh, Lord. That's how my buddy was with fucking Gmail. Now everybody's got a Gmail.
I was that way with Gmail too.
Yeah. He had to drag me kicking and screaming to use Gmail and to use Chrome.
Granted, I wasn't in as, back with the early beta period where you needed an email invite to get in. I wasn't that early in Gmail, but I was aware of Gmail at the time and just begged and pleaded for an invite, never got one, and had to wait for him to open up to the general public.
Yeah,
I got my Gmail.
My buddy was one of the ones who actually got an invite from his old email, and he was like, "Oh, you should come with me. You should come with me." Oh, fuck Gmail. I've got a Hotmail. I've got a Yahoo. Whatever. It doesn't matter. And turns out, boy, I was wrong. Now everybody's got a Gmail, and everybody's using Chrome, and nobody's using Firefox anymore.
Mm-hmm. I'm actually not using Chrome anymore either. I'm using Vivaldi. It's a Chrome-based browser, though. So.
Yeah, my trans friend's son, who I really want to interview, is she was telling me about Brave or something like that, or I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head.
Good. Brave is solid. Brave is solid.
She says it's some bullshit thing to fight against Google or some damn thing. Like, I would care more, but it took me so fucking long to finally get Chrome to not have ads that I don't want to do it all again.
I get you.
It's the same reason I use Twitch.
I did want to mention something that, as you mentioned your trans friend, I did want to mention something that I could have mentioned a lot earlier when it came up, when I was talking about my stepdad. But part of the reason things ended amicably between him and my mom is because he wants to transition.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, my ex-stepdad wants to trans. He hasn't done the full transition yet, but he does do the drag shows, and he's actually back in his prime of doing the shows and pageants.
Is he properly dysphoric, or is it just the cross-dressing?
I don't know. It's sort of a mix. I do believe there is a dysphoria there, but I think he's learned to live with it and understand it until he can get the surgery.
Yeah.
I do think it exists. I do think it's there.
Were there any like hints when he was with you guys?
Mom helped him do his makeup.
Well, that's a pretty big hint.
Yeah. That's how open we are to it. Mom helped him do his makeup. My sister and I were.
He'll be the belle of the ball.
To his practice sessions. Learning the numbers, learning the various songs for his performances. He actually, like I said, he won a few crowns back in his prime.
Shit. Good for him.
I am very much an ally and a strong, staunch supporter of the trans community. It's just, I can't stand what it's become.
Nobody can. I don't know if you've actually been on my server when Sun goes completely apeshit on the trans community, because she hates what it's become. It is like our visceral hatred of Molly Burke for speaking for all of us, that she hates the overall trans community like 10 times more than that.
Yeah.
There is nobody who hates a bad actor worse than somebody who is a good actor, who is, somebody who is good faith, right?
Exactly. And that's what the kind of person I am. I am very supportive and accepting, and I'm not going to try to fight their battle for them.
I'm supportive of individuals. I am not supportive of movements, because movements can be corrupted, whereas individuals can be talked around.
Yes, agreed. I'm very much that myself.
And that's another reason why I wanted to do these interviews. I didn't want to talk to a blind person, an advocate, this, that, and the other. I wanted to talk to John, my buddy. And your unique experiences in the world of gaming, apparently. But whatever.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't care what we talk about. I just want to shoot some shit. Hence the name.
Indeed. And hey, maybe you can have multiple episodes with the same people, bring back on for different topics.
Yeah, definitely. Or just, like if something interesting happens in your life and you want to get it out there and, get some input or what have you. Because that's what
to come back around for another round.
Because that's what I'd like. I'd like to get this actually to go somewhere and have people chime in with their ideas about various things we've talked about. Maybe somebody's got a recommendation for another game. Maybe somebody's got a recommendation for, ideas for your book. Maybe somebody's got, that's the thing that I've enjoyed when doing research on how to do these interviews is the comments tend to be, well, they tend to either be really supportive or they tend to have really interesting points. And the supportive stuff is appreciated, but yeah, take it or leave it. But the input is what's always been important to me. And I love seeing what people think about the dynamic, or the various parts that make up the dynamic.
Agreed.
Maybe people will have links for other fractals that I can zoom in on.
Possibly. I don't know.
I kind of hope.
All I will say is maybe it comes out, this episode releases, and we see people sitting there in the comments, hey, I'd like to have him back. Maybe you guys can start a regular talk show.
Yeah. I have no issue. I have no issue with that idea, but it would have to be the right people. Because you end up if you get the wrong people, it's just people talking over people over and over and over again, and it's a royal pain in the ass. But if we get the right people, I have no problem setting that up.
It's sort of what I had with another podcast that I was working on and a part of there for Real Life Problems. I was the quiet one. I had two other personalities on the show that were sort of a bit above mine, and I was the quiet one.
You ain't going to be the quiet one today, that's for damn sure.
No, not really.
But I mean,
that's what happens. It depends on the dynamic. I'm very good at fitting in with just about any dynamic wherever I see the spot to fit in. So
yeah.
Sometimes my force of personality is not very strong. I've got a good personality. It's just not an overpowering, demanding, or commanding.
But at the same time, when the spotlight is on you, you're able to provide, you're able to actually speak up. And not a lot of people are able to do that. It's either one or the other. They either sink into the wall or they're, brash Billy Big Balls like me.
Yeah. You know that old saying about how there's two types of people, there's leaders and followers?
Yeah.
I'm the type of person that saying doesn't account for.
Yeah, I've never liked that saying because I think everybody's a bit of both to some degree.
I'm the type of person who blazes my own trail and doesn't care if anybody follows me or not.
Yep. And I'm the person that can
go my direction down my own path.
And I'm the person that can adapt to pretty much any situation. Thank you, roguelikes, and a hard life. That's why I like roguelikes. They're microcosms of my terrible, terrible life.
I think they're just microcosms of life in general.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who.
And that's pretty much what it boils down to. They're all randomized. You get one life. You adapt or you don't. And if you don't, you tend to die.
Adapt or die.
Yeah, the Marines had it right.
Yeah.
That's probably why they're so popular with the ladies and men folk. Because now there are female Marines, and that's cool. I'm all for that. I'm all for egalitarianism. If you can do the work, fuck it, go for it. I don't care what you got between your legs.
And exactly. I just don't think standards should have been lowered as far as they were in some parts.
No, do not agree with that. I definitely do not agree with them lowering the standards like they did. Because all I can think of is the firefighting thing. 400-pound guy. You got some 5'2" Asian woman who really wants to be a firefighter, and then you've got some 6'4" Norwegian lunatic. Which one are you going to send up the ladder to get the 400-pound guy out of the burning apartment? But
Good point.
I mean, that being said, there is a point. I mean, they're right person for the right job, but that has nothing to do with sex. I mean, there's guys who are like 5'2" and 100 pounds soaking wet, just as there are girls.
Yeah.
It's just a bit more common among the ladies rather than.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not me saying women should be in secretarial positions or what have you. I definitely don't think they should. If they want to be active, they totally can be active. But at the same time, you don't send a 100-pound woman up to get a 400-pound guy out of a building.
I don't know. It depends on the situation. For example, would speed over power benefit in this case? Like,
Yeah.
could she is the building unstable, nearing collapse? Is speed an issue? Does she have to be fast?
Can the 400-pound guy haul ass? If the 400-pound guy can haul ass, she can run in, get him out, easy peasy. Yeah, but I'm thinking like he's passed out due to smoke inhalation. But yeah, that's a very good point. If alacrity is the name of the game, yeah, you want to get a small person in there that can really move their ass.
Yep.
But at the same time,
besides that, with her size being smaller, she can hang out lower, closer to the ground, making it safer for her due to smoke inhalation.
Yeah, and I mean that extrapolates out to military. That extrapolates out to all these quote unquote man jobs. It's not like women can't have a part in them. It's just it's got to be the right part, so that they're not getting hurt, or so that they're not jeopardizing the mission, whatever the mission ends up being.
Exactly. People have to understand that they're not going to be good at everything, and this is the problem we're coming to here. Is a lot of these
people want equality, not equity, or equity, not equality. It's one of the two things. I always fucking mix them up.
I do. It's the way I always phrase it is right now people are begging for equality of outcome.
Yeah, instead of equality of opportunity.
Yes.
And I'm all in favor of equality of opportunity. I say put everyone at the same starting line and you sink or swim as you will.
I agree. I am a big fan of that myself.
Yep.
Right now, though, we have more equality of outcome than we have equality of opportunity.
Yeah, ask Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot how that went. I mean, former mayor, I'm sorry. I don't know if you've seen her. She terrifies me. I'd never seen her before like a couple of weeks ago, and I saw her and I was like, is that a crackhead? Because she legitimately looks like a crackhead. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful to her. She legitimately looks like a crackhead. There's just no other way to say it. I know I legitimately look like a homeless person. I'm fine with that. I accept that. But I'm not trying to be no public figure here. So, well, I mean, more than I already am. I'm not trying to be some public face of anything. She's the public face of Chicago, or she was. And she's coming out looking like that? Ugh. No wonder crime skyrocketed if that's the best face you can put forward.
I don't know. You look like a homeless person. Well, guess what? I happen to look like Santa Claus's long-lost, slightly less pudgy brother.
Yeah, I'm thinking like in 5-10 years, I'll probably look like Santa myself. My beard's going pretty white pretty quick. Which I'm fine with. I didn't want it to go gray. I wanted it to go straight from brown to white.
I already got people calling me Gandalf.
Yeah, nice. See, there you go. If you're going to be compared to anyone, you should be compared to Ian McKellen rather than Santa Claus. Because a lot of people don't believe in Santa Claus. Everybody believes in Gandalf.
Oh, that was a good one.
I thought so. So anyway, I'm gonna wrap this up. I think that was a good episode. I think we did well. I think
so too. I think we're running out of topics.
Yep, we didn't step on each other's toes too much, which I didn't think we would do because we've talked before. We've been pretty good about that. So that has been the very first Triple S interview. That has been the first Shooting Some Shit with John. He has a Discord. I will link it in the description below. I hope you all enjoyed this. I have been Mad Max. He has been Glitch Vision. And we will see you all next time as much as we were able to see anything.